It's no surprise that many parents of 90 Day Fiancé franchise cast members are wary of their children's life choices, but these mothers and fathers truly take the cake. There have been several troublesome parents featured in the franchise, and they usually make life even more difficult for their kids. These 90 Day Fiancé parents are the ones who gave their sons and daughters the biggest headaches. Most of the show's cast members find themselves in unusual situations, making tough decisions. Sometimes, they're shocked with how accepting their parents are of them and their partners. It takes a lot to demonstrate unconditional love when a child is testing their parents' limits, and there have been a few instances where cast members are pleasantly surprised. However, there are other times when parents represent the other extreme. In other words, they make their children's lives more complicated. These mothers and fathers are the most difficult that the 90 Day Fiancé franchise has ever seen, and their kids are cast members who understandably crave some space. Brandon Gibbs' parents Ron and Betty Gibbs. These Virginia parents have been mostly supportive of their son Brandon's relationship with Julia Trukina, but they've also been extremely meddlesome. Ron and Betty Gibbs are controlling of their son and have tried to do whatever they could to keep him on the farm. On many occasions, Ron and Betty ignored Brandon's wishes, like him not wanting to have a wedding party. Their antics and demands often left Julia exasperated, and fans have joined Julia in criticizing Ron and Betty for not respecting Brandon's autonomy. Asuelu Pula's mom Lucina is regularly slammed by fans for instigating conflict and for her extreme entitlement. Asuelu and Kalani struggle to keep their family of four afloat, but still, Lucina constantly demands money from her son. On 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Lucina literally ruined Christmas by again asking for handouts and suggesting that Asuelu leave Kalani to find a new wife who is willing to have more children. Lucina is incredibly disrespectful to her son and daughter-in-law, and fans wouldn't blame Asuelu for cutting her out of his life. Colt Johnson's mom Debbie Johnson. It's fair to say that Colt and Debbie Johnson have a deeply dysfunctional relationship, and although Colt can be problematic, Debbie is also extremely demanding. The mother and son duo have been living together for years, and on the latest season of 90 Day, The Single Life, Debbie made Colt give up his weekend just to drive her to San Diego for a first date. Debbie often has unreasonable expectations and is quick to get angry. She's unwilling to compromise or even discuss disagreements that they have. Mike Youngquist's mom Trish Youngquist probably didn't call her daughter-in-law Natalie Mordovtseva a hooker, but that's not to say she wasn't horrible to her in other ways. It was obvious that Trish didn't like Natalie from the very start, and she didn't warm up to her after Natalie moved to the U. S to marry Mike Youngquist. Natalie certainly has her issues, but she didn't deserve the icy and passive-aggressive treatment she got from Trish. Mike and Natalie's relationship troubles weren't helped by Trish's issues, and she seemed delighted to watch her son's marriage fall apart. Sumit Singh's parents Adna and Anil Singh. Sumit's parents were horrified by their son's relationship with his much older girlfriend Jenny Slatin from the get-go, though they were mostly concerned with their own social status. Anil and Sadhna Singh were worried that if Sumit and Jenny were together publicly, they would face ridicule. In particular, Sadhna was extremely hostile towards Jenny and insulted her in her native tongue, so Jenny would be none the wiser. It ultimately took the family astrologer to knock some sense into them and make them realize that they don't have a say in their son's relationship decisions. Elizabeth Podest's dad Chuck Podest. Chuck Podest isn't actively difficult or meddling, but he doesn't seem to grasp the full extent of his family's dysfunction, and that causes problems too. There have already been numerous large family arguments, but 90D's Chuck proposed a cross-state road trip with everyone piled into a single RV. The trip was, no surprise, a total disaster which led to even more family squabbles. Fans are frustrated that Chuck hasn't wised up by now, and they wonder if he ever will. Yazan Abu Harira's parents. Yazan Abu Harira's strict Muslim parents are extremely religious, with traditional values, and their rigidity caused a lot of problems for Yazan. It's true that Yazan's former girlfriend Brittany Banks didn't research their culture much before she arrived, but their expectations of her were very restrictive. Yazan's parents had no flexibility and threatened to cut Yazan out of the family if he didn't leave Brittany. They're reportedly happier now that Yazan has married a nice Muslim girl, but it seems that their love is conditional. Evelyn Cormier's parents Jackie and Antonio. Evelyn's parents weren't difficult at all and were actually extremely supportive of their daughter's relationship with her fiancé David Vasquez Zermeno, and that's exactly the problem. When she got married to David, Evelyn was just 18 years old, and David was nearly a decade her senior. Evelyn's parents should have had major concerns about their daughter's relationship, but they were absolutely in favor of the wedding. It turns out that Evelyn and David's relationship was extremely problematic, and fans are disappointed that Jackie and Antonio didn't have more issues with their daughter's relationship earlier on. Danny Frischmuth's dad Charles. Viewers were shocked by Danny Frischmuth's father's regressive views, and he caused his son and future daughter-in-law Amy Frischmuth major anxiety. Charles didn't believe in interracial marriages, which was obviously a problem for Danny and Amy. Ultimately, Charles was somewhat icy towards Amy and her South African family, but he didn't cause much of a fuss. Still, fans see him as extremely problematic and are glad he didn't divide the couple. For many reasons, these 90-day fiancé parents have made their children's lives far more difficult, and while their cast member kids still love them, moms and dads can create major problems. Maintaining family ties isn't always easy, and these parents regularly test their kids' limits, for better or worse.